thank you very much for joining, everyone. This is the Gospel of Betelgeuse, and I'd love to welcome our guest, Michelle Aravena. Aravena?
Good.
Aravena?
Aravena. Aravena is how you say it in Chilean, but that was really good. I'm impressed.
Good, thank you. Thank you. Don't even try to pronounce my last name, it's impossible.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't dare. Not when
It's
people are listening. Absolutely not.
um, so welcome to the Gospel of Beetlejuice, and thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. So you are the once and forever Miss Argentina,
Mm,
and a newcomer to the cast of the show as it has started its run at the Marquee Theater. And it's back from the dead, and we are so excited that we have the show back. We're so excited that we have new faces in the show. So
so
what
excited to be back on stage, period.
I know, right?
Oh
It's so
gosh.
amazing going into a theater and being able to sit down and enter into that world again.
There was a moment where I didn't think it would happen. So yeah, we're grateful every day for sure.
Absolutely. And the first performance back when I walked into the theater and heard the music again, the that incredibly wonderful, creepy music that Matt
It's so
Stein
creepy.
created.
Yeah.
When I heard the music again and the lights and everything as you enter into the world of Beetlejuice, I was just I it just I was so overwhelmed by emotions that
I'm
I
sure.
couldn't
I'm
even cry. I
sure.
couldn't even cry.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's true
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just get to a point where it's like you almost go to this like blissful form of numb,
Yep.
where it's like almost too much to take in. I like
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. So you are obviously a newcomer to the show. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the show, what the audition process was like, and bring us from start to rehearsal.
Way back. Yeah. So yeah, it was a little interesting. So obviously most people know that this character used to be combined with Leslie Kritzer's character in the show, and coming back around to Beetlejuice 2.0, they decided to go back to splitting the tracks, which I'm super excited and happy about. And I think Leslie is enjoying the break too, because that was a very hard change for her. Going, it was like a 3 minute change or something. I actually have like 10 minutes back there and it's still tight. So I was this was over, I think this was like November. I was in Utah with my nephew, who's also in the business, and he was working at a theater out there called Tuacahn. So I was kind of playing guardian. And I get a call that they are looking for Miss Argentina for Beetlejuice. Now, I had not had a chance to even see Beetlejuice before shutdown. So I really knew nothing about it. I didn't know what this track was. I hadn't seen anything from the show. So I said, okay, let me YouTube. And I saw a little bootleg of Miss Kritzer doing this number. And I said, oh my gosh, this is like everything I do. This is everything I do. Of course, I'm going to go in for this. So I put together a self tape and got a call back. And unfortunately, because I was in Utah, I couldn't make the call back. So I kind of went away for a couple months. Cut to, I don't know. I'm getting my months mixed up. It was like maybe like a month or two before we were going to start rehearsal. They still couldn't find anyone to fill the track, and I was in Chicago at the time, doing a production of Evita at Drury Lane, and I get a call asking if I was still interested. Would I be willing to jump on Zoom with the dance team and maybe read again? And it was just like a whirlwind of, oh, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And so it literally happened in like one day, and I get the offer the next day and actually had to leave Chicago early. I arrived to Beetlejuice a week late. It was like madness in all the most blissful ways, right? Like it's when the adrenaline keeps you going in those moments of like, okay, I'm here and now I'm going to go here and now I'm starting this. So it was kind of chaotic, but I think it's kind of appropriate to like what this whole show is, because the show is chaotic. Um, and yeah, and so finally I ended up here. Here I am.
Here you are,
Yeah.
and we're so happy to have you. So and there's a little bit of you had a little bit of a break, as unfortunately. prior to the reopening. So
Yeah, I love that you brought this up because I'm actually very open about talking about this. So I've been in this business over 30 years. I started, when I was 9 years old and was a dancer and then kind of like moved out of that into like more roles and this and that. And um, when I got this show, I didn't really know what to prepare myself for. And it's a super, super active show for the ensemble and especially the dancers. It's like athletic dancing, jumping on trampolines, sliding across the floors, cartwheels on knuckles, all this. The dancers work so hard in the show. And so, because I literally drove from Chicago 13 hours home and then was in rehearsals for Beetlejuice the next day. And I had been playing Ava Perón for 2 months before that, which if you know Evita, it's not one of these roles, right? It's a super exhausting role as well. So I started the process a bit depleted. And I jumped on a moving train. So I just got into rehearsal and I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Okay, I'm doing this. Oh wow, I'm doing that. And now I'm cartwheeling off the table. Okay. So I believe everything happens for a reason. And while we were in tech, we were teching beautiful sound, and it all happened so fast. I think I tripped on one of my costume pieces or something on the stage, and basically slid across the stage into my finishing pose and tore my MCL. Now, I've never had an injury as far as like a physical injury in my whole career, so it was I won't even say a little devastating. It was very devastating, but I knew instantly something happened. And so, unfortunately, I was not able to open the show. And we brought in the most amazing, fierce Gabby Campo. Oh, you probably saw Natalie in opening, right?
yeah, I actually got to
Natalie.
see both Natalie and Gabby.
Yeah.
So
So, two like fierce women to like, hold down the fort. I took a month off, which was a really hard decision for me to make because, especially when you grow up as dancers, your mentality is like, no, I can do it. I can do it. I'm going to push through it. I'm going to push through it. And thank God I had enough people speaking into my ear going, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. This is your career. This is a moment in time. The show is not going anywhere. The role is not going anywhere. Get healed so you can come back at 100%. And during my downtime, it was hard, knowing that the show was opening and all the excitement around it, and not being there. But I do believe that my body and the universe were giving me a reset, right? So they shut me down so that I could like take a second, rest, wrap my head around, because not only did this happen very quickly, but this is also after 2 years of being down as a performer. So I think it happened for a reason. I had the most incredible PTs helping me work through it, and yeah, I've been back almost 2 months now, and we're doing really well. We're doing really well. I needed to be taught again, like which muscles to use, which muscles to build, because now I'm a dancer again.
yeah, and that's I
Yeah.
mean I mean I did not realize the extent of what had happened. So
Mm,
that is just insane. And I mean
yeah.
I'm so glad that you were able to do a reset and were able to come back and um know exactly what your body was telling you and what your body needed you to do.
What it takes to do this
Yeah.
show 8 times a week. This is
Yeah.
a tough show. The payoff is so worth it, but there is nothing easy about this show from any departments, from our department, from wardrobe, it is a hefty show.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's so amazing, but we all work very hard. So, um, yeah, it was good for me to have a moment to go, okay, what do I need to do in order to keep myself safe and on that stage 8 times a week? And yeah, feels good.
That's great.
Yeah. She's
I'm
still
still
working. She's still working.
I'm still in awe about the extent of the injury. And
Yeah.
that's woof. And
I got lucky. I didn't have to have surgery. So they
oof,
said it was
okay.
like a partial tear, because if it was surgery, I would have been out 3, 4 months, So and again, I had like the best people working on me. So That's what we do. We're like the warriors of Broadway. People don't know. They don't know what we go through between the sprained ankle, the injuries that happen.
Yeah,
There's like death
absolutely.
around every corner on that stage. So we have to be very careful, and we're athletes out there for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh my God. Every time I see the show at the ensemble, everyone who has to do any kind of dancing,
The
especially,
puppets, all the puppeteering,
yes,
it's like,
yes,
yeah.
it's such a physical and demanding show in every way, as you were saying. So it's,
Hmm.
and again, the payoff though, at least from an audience perspective, is incredible because we're sitting there taking it all in. So,
It's worth it.
yeah,
It's worth it. Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So, obviously you were coming into a show as a new person, and you had this role that Leslie had created. That, by the way, wasn't even in the show when I saw it in DC. The
I
character was
know.
not even
That's what I
there.
hear.
Yeah,
I
it was
Yeah.
completely different. The
Yeah.
show was very different.
Argentina's had a journey. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So as far as coming into the show as a new person, and again, there were several other new people joining you. Um, how did it feel as a new person, and how was the welcoming process from the rest of the cast and the creative team?
Yeah. It's going to sound false when I say this, but I have never worked with such a warm, welcoming, supportive group of people. And I've been doing this for a long time. And I think that you will hear that across the board. One, at the helm of our ship, we have Alex Brightman, who, as a leader, as the star of the show, the leader of this company, you set a tone. You really, really do. You set a tone. And it makes sense to me why this company is an instant family, and why they all take care of each other, why we all take care of each other so well. It comes from him, and even above that, it comes from Alex Timbers. Alex Timbers is known for putting just like the greatest group of people together because it's important to him. The room is important to him. The experience is important to him, not only visually and what we see in the product we put up, but how we interact, day to day and week to week, year to year sometimes. So it really, from day one, and it's intimidating. It's always intimidating coming into a company that has created something together. There was, what do we have, like 8 or 9 new people kind of here and there. But from day one, it was an instant kind of welcome to our family. Let's do this thing. Let's get this show back up and running. So it's the kind of company I could spend a long time with, for sure.
That's the what we feel that energy too, in the
I think
audience,
so, right? You
and
must.
even beyond that on social media, all of the Instagram stories and the TikToks. It's all just such a it seems like such a welcoming, warm family environment.
I
Um,
know.
with
Everybody always says, "Oh, it's a family, it's family," but this is a
Yeah,
family. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and that I got that impression from every single person I've talked to who's in the show or involved with the show. So,
Yeah, we're not lying. We're not lying. It's true. It's true.
so obviously, Leslie created the role on Broadway, and there had been, and Natalie and Kim had previously also played it when they
Hmm.
did the Delia Miss Argentina split track. So what was it like like taking the role and making it your own as a new person?
Yeah. Well, that it can always be scary, I think, especially when like it's Kritzer and she created something that people fell in love with, and you know she created something so powerful and so special and so funny, and like only she can do that. So I think even in the discussions that I had with her coming into it, it was really important for me to create, to bring back to Beetlejuice the same kind of energy that the fans were wanting and expecting, but making sure I was bringing myself into it, right? So we weren't going to do a cookie cutter version of what Leslie did, but I think it's amazing what she did. So of course I wanted to keep that the status high there, but also it's me and I'm different. So there are moments there. So I guess coming into it, it was like really having the pep talks of trust yourself, trust what you do, trust your team. They will lead you in the right direction, to make this number what it needs to be. And again, nothing but support from everywhere, but I'm not gonna lie, it's intimidating. It's intimidating, but now I'm like 2 months in. I've been doing it. I'm really starting to make it my own. I'm really starting to find the timing and the bits that I've created and feeling comfortable with that. And in the end, I think I'm proud. I'm proud to step into the shoes of the peeps that came before me, for sure.
That's awesome, and it is such a joy to watch you on stage. And it's so crazy to you know to just to think about how multiple people can play a character, and it's totally different, but you still get the same
Exactly.
exact like feeling of emotion from it. So it's
Exactly.
just it's crazy, because every single person I've seen play this role has done it a very different way, and
It's true.
it is all amazing, and it is all hilarious, and it has like a sexiness to it, obviously,
Yeah.
just because it's
Yeah.
I mean that number is just such a fun, like, over the top, out of
It's a
completely
fireball
com-
cliche of
yeah,
like
yes,
telenovela.
yes, it sure is, it really is, it's crazy, it's just that number is just such an energetic, fun number, and uh it actually kind of gives you it kind of sums up a major theme of the show in one number. uh
I'm so happy you said that because I never want to be like, well, my number, but it's true. It's like
yeah,
that's what the whole point of the show is. Finally, you have this crazy character that you've not seen throughout the whole show. She's out there maybe like, I don't know, 8, 10 minutes. And like it's just like things are happening. But what if you think about what the song is saying? It's really the whole theme of the show is like, don't waste your time.
yeah,
Don't waste your time here. Do you know what I mean? Because it goes too quickly. And if I knew that back then I would have done everything different, So look at that.
exactly. I love the line, before they lower the curtain, be certain to
Oh,
enjoy the show. That like gets me every
yes.
time. Every
Oh, see, I
time.
just got chills. See, now that's going to get me tonight. Because I will admit that by that time in the number, I'm like sucking wind. So, but thank you for that because now I'm going to think about that when I do it tonight.
Good. Well, think.
Yeah, by that time, they're like, yeah,
Yeah. Oh my God. So much, and like again, that's one of many numbers in the show that
rip
is
it and
like
rip it, rip
constant.
it and rip it.
Yeah. Um. So what is your favorite, aside from your own number? What is your favorite
Mhm.
scene or song from the show?
I should be able to answer this. So many things are popping into my head, and I'm just trying to figure out which one's the first. What is my favorite? Okay, so my favorite scene, and it's so funny that you asked this because yesterday we had a put in for a couple of our understudies. And again, I didn't see the show prior to doing it. I saw it once before I went back in, but I was so focused on like my track and what I needed to do that I really couldn't like just sit and watch and take it in. And yesterday, I was able to pop into the audience when I wasn't doing something and watch parts of the show. And I was watching the scene between um, Lydia, sorry, Lydia, watching the scene between Lydia and her father, right? In the underworld as they're in the netherworld as they're heading back home. And whew, it got me. Because this show spends so much time, right, in the comedy and the bits and the this and the loud and the singing and the lights it was so lovely to just see two people on stage having a very real moment and just talking to each other and communicating and like I teared up instantly, which I didn't expect to do. And I've never really kind of like honed in on that scene because we're usually doing a million things, changing costumes, changing makeup, and it was just really beautiful. And it's so smart to have moments like that in a show that lives up here, right? To bring it to, we're still telling a real story here. We're still telling a real story with real emotion behind it. And these are real people. So that scene really kind of like clicked for me yesterday. I will say my favorite thing to do in the show, and I actually think Gabby said this in another interview, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And now that I've been doing the show for a couple months, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I totally get it. Our clone clump in Beautiful Sound Reprise, where we're like all around Beetlejuice, and I don't even know how to explain it. They're like, one, the big number's over, right? So we're like, hard part done. And now we just get to be these like creepy characters, and we have like our leader, and we're like, it's just so fun. It's so fun. Like once you let go and be like, just be as ugly as you can be and be as creepy as you can be. We don't get those opportunities a lot. So it's really nice to kind of like lean into that. So
That's
favorite song. God, all the music is so good. All the music is so good. I don't have a favorite song. I really don't. I don't
okay.
have a favorite song.
Fair.
Don't.
Fair enough. So speaking of songs and scenes, so that's another thing that I didn't bring this up previously, but as Miss Argentina, you're also in the ensemble. So you're in whole Big Dead thing, and
All of it. I'm in
you're
all
in
of it.
all of the ensemble stuff. So it's really crazy to watch and like try to like pick out who's who in some of these scenes, because the costumes that you're wearing, which are incredible, and like and the wigs and makeup and everything, it's sort of hard. And when you're in the front row, which I've been in a few times, it's easier.
Fun.
It's easier to try to see who's who. It's like, oh, there she is and there he is.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
other than that, I mean, someone seeing the show for the first time, or even the first few times, you'd be like, oh wow, I didn't realize that person was in all those numbers. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
which is kind of cool. I kind of like it. I kind of like it, Miss Argentina being like, who is that? Where did she come from? It's kind of I enjoy kind of being in a little bit of a disguise pretty much the whole show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this might be something you might not be able to answer, but are you one of the skeletons?
I am.
There was a photo posted once of an I think it was a put-in rehearsal. Well, no, there was no.
Oh.
So this is back in the before times at the Winter Garden. Mm-hmm. There was a put-in rehearsal, I think, and there was a photo posted of everyone sitting in like that little audience that the skeletons sit in, but they weren't wearing their costumes. So it was like, oh, that's who's that and everything. But of course, I don't remember. I didn't memorize, but
well, and there's also, because I'm actually not in that part, there's also skeletons that enter later.
Yes.
And the fun thing is, like, I won't tell people I'm in the skeletons, and so friends that come and see, they're like, "Were you in that?" I was like, "Maybe." They're like, we were like, "Wait, where's the short one? Where's the short one?" So even like close friends and family have a hard time picking me out in that number. I mean, we have a hard time picking each other out in that number. There are moments where I'm running across the stage. I don't know who's going this way. We're in skeleton heads. So gosh, that number, that is so wacky. That is a wacky number. Oh.
Out of control. It is so, and I feel
if
like
you could see the faces that are happening behind those skeleton heads.
It has gotten
the stories we could tell.
It has gotten crazier and crazier, and the fact that Alex has added that line in from Company is hilarious. Someone to ruin my sleep. I get it now.
Oh yes.
He only started doing that, within the last few months. So,
oh my God, no.
When I first heard that
man is brilliant. That man is brilliant.
I had to think about it for a second, and I'm like, oh, what?
That's where it's from.
It was great. It was great. But yeah, it's just that number is so wacky. I mean, the whole show is so wacky, but also
it's so wacky.
One of the big things for me is that it's such a wacky, out of this world, kooky show, but it has the biggest heart ever. And
right, and that's what I mean. Like when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, remember the story you're telling. This is all real. Even my number is out of control and ridiculous, but the what we're saying is like, this is something you want people to walk away with.
Exactly.
Don't waste your time. We would all go back if we could. So it's really I had no idea how good it was. I really did not. And I coming in, and seeing it being put together, just watching, I people in the cast make fun of me because they will literally see me on the side of the stage, just like just watch it. I mean, also like to be a part of like comic geniuses. I've never really done a comedy like this, between Leslie and Alex and Carrie, like the just comic geniuses. And and it's never the same. It's always me, they're always playing. And so, yeah, you'll find me. It's been a long time since I've been that kid that sits in the wings and watches the other, like, oh, I have some free time. I'm just going to watch. And it feels really good to be in a show that you want to do that again.
About to watch Wicked, and I looked at my phone, and someone posted that there are new Lights of Broadway cards coming out, and you're gonna have your own Lights of Broadway card,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy and pretty amazing. And I
I know.
had to, but right before the lights went down, I'm like, I need to order this right now.
Yes.
So
Fantastic.
that's really
I know
awesome.
it's my first, and it's really exciting. It was totally unexpected. And
Yeah,
yeah, I know. It's like one of those like, oh, Broadway moments.
yep, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it was
Um,
really cool.
so I'm very excited to get those,
Yay.
and it's it's just another you know another piece of being immortalized in the show and in
I know. Thank you,
the history of the
Beetlejuice.
show.
Like it's
Exactly.
Beetlejuice. Thank you, Beetlejuice.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So I will let you go shortly, but before I do, is there anything that you wanted to say to anyone who's watching, the fans, anything that you want to throw out there um, at all?
Yeah, again, I'll go back to what I said to you earlier. I have never had the opportunity to do a show with such a fan base like this. And so it's all new to me. Like the day that the announcement went out, I'm older, so social media, I'm like still getting the hang of it. But like the day the announcement went out, I'm not kidding you, I gained like 1,000 followers. And I was like, what is happening? And I'm like, do I need to, am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do? They're like, no, these are our fans. They're great. They're awesome. They're just here to support. And I was like, and it's a constant, again, like I said, it's not, because some people in this business, we can get a little bit catty and compare people back and forth and this and that. Oh, there's a new person in the show. What do we think about them? And from what I can see, there is only support from these fans. There is only excitement around new people, understudies, and again, it's like our family seems like it bleeds out through our fan family. And you hear us constantly, all of us on all of our different platforms, whenever we can, thanking our fans. And it's for a reason. We truly, truly have the best, most supportive fans. And we feel that. I'm getting emotional now. We feel it every day. We're so thankful for all of you. You're what has gotten us back here, first of all, and what is keeping us here. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, truly. I miss Broadway. So thank you. Thanks for getting me back here. All right. Thanks. I'm going to be thinking about you when the curtain down. I'm going to be like, I remember. He loves that line. I love that line. He loves that line. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure. It'll help. Believe me. At that point, it'll help.
it'll give you that little
Okay.
boost.
Oh my God. That little